understand it. This wasn't the plan. Don't wanna demand it. I've done what I can. And I never mentioned the times you were rude. And I never mentioned when you heard the truth. Scared to lose it all. I won't stand a chance. And I don't wanna fake it. What if I can't walk away? Got me staying away. Hoping I don't make the same mistake. Same mistake. Hoping I don't make the same mistake. I don't like to leave things unresolved. Maybe it's madness. I'm begging you, please pick up the call. You're causing me damage. I should've known, wasn't your fault. Don't even matter. I wasn't thinking clear, trying to take it there. Scared to lose it all. I won't stand a chance. And I don't wanna fake it. What if I can't walk away? You got me standing in the rain. Hoping I don't make the same mistake. Same mistake. Hoping I don't make the same mistake. I'm just standing in the rain, hoping I don't make the same mistake. Hand out, she holds. It's feeling like we've been here before. We're both so broke. That's something that'll keep us afloat. Don't walk too slow. We can't keep falling deeper again. Came too close and the taste so far from pure. A rush of blood, but we search for so much more. We've all been here before.
Shenandoah University is a big little university rising.
With 22 Division III sports teams, over 200 areas of study,
Over 300 annual performances, an elite academic esports program,
Nationally ranked health professions programs, one of the biggest university presences on Broadway,
immersive AR and VR learning programs,
cybersecurity and computer science programs, and innovative undergrad and graduate programs.
all at a place that cares for you.
Shenandoah University is the big little university rising. Find out more at su.edu/rising.
We have the Esports Arena right here on campus in Winchester, Virginia, and this facility acts as the hub for all esports activity at Shenandoah University. Students are able to use this space not just for competition and practices, but also as a living learning community and a sandbox for them to come and explore and practice and try out things related to and through esports in the gaming industry so that they're getting that hands-on learning and the skills necessary to help them find a career by the time they graduate. We also have the professional level broadcast production booth where we do all of our broadcasting and production, from casting of our games that we play right here on campus to working with outside entities to record footage for them as well. In addition to the space that we have here in the esports arena is the esports war room. Our students get to use that space for studying, but also outside projects. So our students get to use this space for professional development and the academic side of our esports program, which is such a critical component to go with that competitive element that we have. So we combine all of our facilities at Shenandoah University with competition, community, and career preparation. We have over 250 days of programming, and there's something for everybody, and we want you to be part of it.
We've all been here before. We've all been here before. Hand out she holds, it's feeling like we've been here before. We're both so broke, that's something that'll keep us afloat. Don't walk too slow, we can't keep falling deeper again. Came too close and the taste so far from pure. A rush of blood, but we search for so much more. We've all been here before. We've all been here before.
Welcome back, everybody, to one more Shenandoah Esports competition. We are back for what could be, well, what is the last week of NACE competition for our Smash team here at Shenandoah University, and we will be watching them go up against the University of Western Georgia in the, the exciting conclusion to this regular season. So, Chris Clayton, joined by my lovely brother Kevin for one more Clayton cast of the regular season. Kevin, we're going to have a lot of fun today.
Oh, absolutely. Not only did we get to watch this team compete yesterday, taking down 2 crews in a beautiful fashion, frankly, a lot stronger performance than I was expecting. And now we get one more chance for the main roster to throw hands and try and get their big win here today.
Yeah, so no secrets here, right? We had some interesting storylines coming into both competitions yesterday, as the NACE rules required that our subs get a certain amount of playtime for them to be eligible in postseason competition. That is now behind us, from what we understand. So the players we are fully expecting to see are the players on your screen right now. AJ, Igloo, Kip, and Willie, respectively, should we need them all, as, I mean, this team has done some magical things, right? We know what these players are capable of, and it's been a hot minute since we've seen this team at full strength.
Oh, absolutely. Not only do you have a ton of potential here, but we've been seeing it the last couple of days, where Igloo pulled out a secondary and was able to take 8 stocks with a Samus. But not only that, AJ had an amazing performance. Kip got another 12 stock. The only one who we haven't seen too much around is Willie, and I wouldn't be surprised if he is looking for an opportunity to show his stuff a little bit more going forward.
Yeah, if I'm not mistaken, yesterday over the course of both series we watched, everybody on the team got some playing time, with the one exception being Willie. And I know that when you have a player like that sitting in reserve, they like to get their playing time, right? It's not great to leave a player that hot sitting on the bench. But let's take a quick look at our opponents here as we take a quick check at the standings, right? We will be playing against UWG there on the right side of your screen. So not a ton at stake for Shenandoah, admittedly, right? Playoffs are a lock, but certainly a statement to be made with a higher seed and an undefeated record on the line.
Yeah, because not only is UWG just like, Shenandoah wants this first seed position. I believe this may be one of the first times Shenandoah has gone in with the potential of the first seed in their competitive career. We've been close. I know the last 2, maybe 3 years we've averaged second or third, but there's always been one school who has been top dog with some truly high-level players. So having Shenandoah with the win right in their grasp, they want this, and they want this bad.
Yeah, it can be important to finish at the top, and I believe that just based off head-to-heads, even if the series is lost today, they should come out above ETSU, but I'm not here to assume that. I'm sure the team is not here to assume that, because that's not what they want. They want to be outright undisputed #1, and it's worth mentioning that while, yes, UWG is on the bottom of the standings chart we just showed you, their one win was against Bruton Parker, who we did just watch this squad go up against last night and come out relatively handedly. So things are looking up. If you're an SU Smash fan, right, we expect so much of this team every single year, and this year has not been an exception in any way.
Oh, absolutely. All of these players have been just not only just ready for this big win, but also getting the rest of this team. I mean, you can see behind us, it's not just the 4 players on the main roster and those 2 subs. Everyone is here, and they all want to support each other. They're trying to get better, and a handful of these players will be graduating within like the next year or 2 on the main roster, and they don't want to just leave and then have Shenandoah be a shell of its former self. They want to build up these players and bring them into this spotlight going forward. So I'm glad to see all the support here, and for all of you watching at home, feel free to talk in the chat, get hyped, because this is the environment we want to build here at Shenandoah. This sort of loving, very passionate environment.
Yeah, it's awesome to watch these players be so supportive of the second team that coming into the semester we did not have. Like, this was a late addition. We had sort of last-second walk-on tryouts almost, if you want to view it that way, for all of our teams. If any people on campus wanted to come out and give it a shot and, you know, take their chance on getting on any one of these teams. And a lot of the tryouts, right, it's maybe one or two people showing up that didn't hear about the original tryouts. Smash had, I want to say, like, I don't even know, like 15 people show up for those last chance tryouts, and it ended up forming an entirely separate team. And that was so exciting because, I mean, certainly none of us saw that coming. None of the Smash players, the active varsity players, saw that coming. But it's such an awesome opportunity for these players to grow and develop underneath such a strong roster that we already have. So they will be playing at the same time as the varsity roster, which I believe is the first time this has happened all year long. So we'll be keeping an eye on them. Unfortunately, not on the main broadcast, but we'll keep you up to date with anything you need to know. But it's really awesome seeing all these people out here at the same time.
Oh, absolutely. I gotta say, Chris, not only do we have these players getting into the Smash Bros. Mentality and trying to get better at this game, but just a little bit of a side tangent away from this game. Sakurai has come out and said he's working on a new game. Didn't say what it was, but, you know, we got a lot of passionate individuals here. I wouldn't be upset. You know, Switch 2 rumors, you know, we might see it. And having a pretty strong group of students who would be willing to give it a go if said hypothetical game were to release. I mean, who knows?
I mean, shoot. Like, yeah, it's exciting to see that the future of Shenandoah is certainly not in bad hands by any means, no matter what the game turns out to be. But, you know, we can only speculate, right? There hasn't even been another announcement on a console yet, so
right.
We'll see. I know, didn't Sakurai say that he wanted to be done with Smash Bros?
Oh,
like,
so many times.
Yeah.
He wanted to be done at Brawl. That was like a whole thing.
2 games later, here we are. Yeah, so, I don't know, certainly something to keep an eye out for. Unfortunately, I doubt that either you or I will be here to see it, but hopefully some of you at home will be able to stick around and watch the future of this team really develop. So, getting back to the task at hand, right? We have our matchup today against the University of Western Georgia. And this team, like we said, has their one win so far this season against Bruton Parker. In that win, the classic college Smash dilemma, we can't find much on these players. The one thing that this team seems to feel confident about is the presence of an Incineroar.
Oh, Lord.
And I'm curious. We saw an Incineroar yesterday. It didn't quite work out against the SU guys, but I'm curious just as a character, how do you feel about Incineroar all around?
I'm a believer in this character. There is an Incineroar player who is known to be incredibly strong called SkyJ, who has had very strong performances at the larger Smash scene major events. But as of recent, I haven't heard the name much come up, and he does just fairly solid. For a character who is heavy, who is extremely slow, you don't expect him to be good, but that clothesline move, revenge, and his airspeed are the 3 factors that, when put together, make a character that is sometimes incredibly hard to deal with. But when it comes to Shenandoah, we also know that difficult to deal with characters are a staple here as well. Pac-Man has been knowledge checking everyone, and so I want to say Incineroar works in a very similar regard. You either know what you're getting yourself into and you have a game plan going in, or you have no idea and you're going to be in a world of hurt.
Yeah, Incineroar certainly meets our team's standards of weirdly viable. I guess if I could describe our characters from our roster, that would probably be up there, with the one exception being like Kazuya, who everybody seems to understand is just strong all around. And I mean, boy, have we made that clear on this desk. Last time we were out at this desk and not at the back room, we had to watch Willie do frankly unholy things to these to whoever he goes up against, right? That he exudes confidence. He plays in such a manner that demands respect, and it's incredible to watch.
Yeah, because we went into this match talking 2 weeks ago, or last week, my apologies.
Yeah.
Talking about that match last week, it was very scary. It was blow for blow, 3 stocks to 4 stocks to 4 stocks to 3 stocks, like back and forth. And then Willie goes in and practically goes untouched, just running through people. We know the character is good. We know that Willie is good, but we weren't expecting that.
Yeah, not at all. I mean, there are no words to describe what he's capable of at times, and it can sound a little dramatic the way we talk about him, and obviously, you know, he's got his flaws. He's not completely untouchable, but I mean, when he is in his element, it is so hard to take him down just about any time. As we take a look at the replay from last week, I mean, just watch some of these moments, right? All of the electrics coming out, watching this poor Mario unable to make it back to stage, and then the Lucas came out as the one remaining answer to deal with Willie, but he had no answers for himself.
Yeah, and I mean, when dealing with Kazuya, your goal is run away, is to space him out, and I think that Lucas choice was the right option, but again, the tools available are very concerning because Kazuya was just able to put so much at stake at all times. One dragon upper into a forward smash call out. He just was so ready at any given point, and then their superstar player at ETSU is sent back to the anchor position to match Willie. Understandably so. 2 fighting game characters going head-to-head, and it wasn't even close.
It was not close at all. I mean, we see that the one stock that Willie lost in that matchup was him launching himself off the side of the stage. I mean, nobody has really been able to find an answer so far this semester as a whole. We have yet to see anybody really match Shenandoah in that regard, and especially when Willie is in the game.
Yeah, I do want to talk a little about a crew battle strategy. You tend to see a lot of people either send in very aggressive characters to start off or very sit back, like projectile based, and I would consider like Pac-Man to fill that for Shenandoah, and we haven't had many answers to that. But then you have Kazuya on the other side of that, who is, his answer is to play against someone who's spacing out. And while you have that, in a lot of rosters, you need to be very deliberate with that. If you aren't doing your research ahead of time, you may send a character in initially that may be needed later, and that could give the opponent, give SU a round right off the bat. And that is so detrimental in a format where you only need 2 wins to walk away.
Yeah, strategy is so much fun to talk about in these crew battle settings because we have seen so many different ways, so many different strategies find success at various points, right? But it seems that Shenandoah specifically has really settled into this mentality of having your best player to the back. This has been true for years in this program, well before Willie's time, well before our time. Or I guess during your time, I should say, back when you were a competitor on this team.
1 year of K-Rule, baby. Let's go.
Yeah, and the most deadly opener we saw to date.
No,
but
have you seen this Pac-Man? You're kidding me? Give my boy some credit.
Yeah, I mean, Kip is incredible, but you certainly served your purpose back in the day. But anyway.
Oh, thank you.
So, back in the present, right, we know what Willie's capable of when he's put in last. But we also, I had the opportunity to talk to Igloo, the team captain, beforehand, and I mentioned it, I teased it a little bit earlier, that Willie wants to play today. And, you know, with a tendency to put him in last, I understand that Igloo has a strategy in mind that he does not want to stray from, but at the same time, depending on how the series is going, we might see Willie sneak his way up in the ladder and get some playtime today.
I don't hate that idea because you want to give your players experience. You want to give them time in the spotlight, and you can still get that pressure going even if you are sending in that player a little bit early. So if they go in, first, second, or something along those lines. You just need to put the stipulation on them. Get a way for them to get their heart rate going. Say, hey, you're not, like, do your best. You're not allowed to lose more than one stock on this. You got to keep that pressure going where they can be used to being in that anchor spot where everything is against them and they just need to push forward.
Yeah, and it can be so important to give these players that type of experience before playoffs as well, right? We got the subs playing time, and that's just as important, do not get me wrong, but even if this ends up being a slaughter in favor of SU, I wouldn't be surprised if we keep the starters out there because it's time to get hot. It's time to build momentum going into the more important matches that we will see all season long. So again, yeah, for all the same reasons, I wouldn't be surprised to see Willie come out. I wouldn't be surprised, frankly, to see any of the starters come out in any order because they all need the playing time. They all want the playing time before the lights come on and we get into postseason knockout round.
Yes, well, with all of that being said, we on the desk have gotten a little bit of insight as to what this first matchup will be. We have AJ in the hot seat on the Falco up against a Corrin player.
Yeah, this is interesting. So I said I talked to Igloo, our team captain, a little bit before the series, and I said that the one player that we were confident in was that we were going to see an Incineroar somewhere in there today. The other one that was kind of up in the air that we weren't 100%, but we think is out there was this Corrin.
Oh.
So that's not a total surprise to me, but it'll be interesting to see sorties, right, have their niche in this game, and I hesitate to call it a niche because of how many there are, but how do you feel about that sortie matchup, specifically Corrin, with so many other options against Falco?
Yeah, Corrin is, like, weirdly floaty. I wouldn't say, like, to the level of, like, Jigglypuff, but the character tends to stay in the air a lot, and the forward air and the up airs stay out for a really long time. So it's just going to be a lot of spacing, a lot of making sure that, okay, if I'm going to try and get close to this Corrin, it will most likely be on them doing a dash forward or calling out some sort of retreat. You will never see Corrin doing a neutral jump and Falco being able to find his way in unless something is going wrong.
Yeah, and it'll be interesting to see how AJ is able to keep up with that type of playstyle because he's certainly no stranger to the sort of spacing and more distanced playstyle than we see like a Kazuya do, right? These are polar opposites and Falco does not fit into that category, but he can certainly, I would expect, keep up with the Corrin, right? With that, he's not going to struggle with the range. He's got his blasters. He's got the combos that he needs, right? He can use, well, I guess Corrin has one projectile, doesn't he?
Yep.
That
little
shot.
neutral special.
Yeah. So we could see that reflector come out, right, if he's able to sort of time it right. I'm not sure how viable is that move, like in a competitive setting.
The neutral special fills a weird niche where if it connects, your opponent is stunned for a while, you might be able to get a follow-up, but it's not chargeable like Samus where you could just hold on to it and then let it loose later.
That's a good point.
So we will see interactions every now and then where Corrin will go for the neutral special, shoot at that Aura Sphere equivalent, stun, and then maybe go for that forward smash. Beyond that, though, it's heavily telegraphed, which means if we see that, we should be seeing AJ immediately going for that reflector. It's like the Falcon Punch.
Yeah, more than enough time to react. And for those of you who may have been able to watch our show last night, you saw how excited we got when we saw that Falcon Punch start to come out from Splice, but not expecting to see that tonight. But, I mean, you raise a good point, right? We had plenty of time to react to that Falcon Punch or coming in. So I wouldn't be surprised to see AJ able to capitalize on those. Moving forward, though, so AJ is admittedly not who I was expecting to go in first, right? And certainly not normal for this team so far this semester and in years past. So do you think there's any reason behind sending AJ instead of, say, Kip or even Willie? Like,
in my mind, you have Falco, who is a very combo-heavy character and is able to keep people in strings for a really long time using up tilts and up airs and everything else that you would use to just keep those strings going. But a lot of characters can't get out except for Incineroar. Incineroar's revenge is fast enough that he cannot string up tilts against it or anything like that. And because we know information about this Incineroar player, I wouldn't be surprised if it was, hey, highest bet is that they're going to try and save this player for last. We should send AJ in to make sure he gets his stocks before we have to deal with 2 unknowns and a character that he won't be able to deal with in a easy sort of way.
No, that makes sense. And you know, we'll see how it all pans out here fairly shortly. I imagine we'll be getting into game here fairly soon, so we appreciate you bearing with us. But yeah, I mean, a bit of a different approach here for Shenandoah, and only time will tell how it pays off. But yeah, we are being told that the bans are coming through right now, so stage picks should be coming in fairly soon, as it looks like we are getting intel. It'll be Smashville. So that
small stage.
Yeah, small stage, and I think that makes sense for the play styles we just laid out for you, right?
You got a character who wants a little bit of spacing, but won't sit at a long distance. Doesn't need as much space as possible on the side of Corrin. They just need enough to get that sword spacing going. And then you have Falco, who is willing to be close. So you knock out all of these options, and in exchange, you have Falco wanting close blast zones, Corrin wanting a low blast zone, and what better stage to do that than on Smashville?
Amen. What better stage to do it, and what better time to do it than right now, as we will be loading into the game fairly soon, except, excuse me, the players are going to do a quick button check. So, we should be getting into game here fairly soon. We're receiving word that it's only a matter of time before we take you into game here as we await the players to start taunting, and then we will get into game. As now on your screen, we have started the series. SU against the University of Western Georgia is now underway.
Yes, Falco immediately one up tilt into multiple up airs and is getting 66%. And already I love the patience from this Corrin. Look how they sit at the ledge trying to see what sort of options AJ may be trying to cover. And now that she has center stage control, she won't be able to get too much. But I wouldn't be surprised if we do see a falling up air to get this combo started and keep this damage rolling, as both players are just sort of dancing around each other.
Yeah, and just look at how small this stage is. I mean, both of these players look like giants so far, and, you know, we will certainly see that come into play as these percentages start to rack higher. AJ's starting so strong with his combo game, and a back air from center stage will just finish the job. That's exactly why this stage pick is so important.
Yeah, these pins are coming out a lot from this Corrin, who's, yes, controlling a lot of space using that side special, but when you're locking yourself in place for a second, that gives AJ enough time to walk forward and go for that back air to close out that stock, as now Corrin is on the ledge and a little bit of damage built up. Falco is not at a percentage to go down just yet unless this forward smash connects. Is it going to be enough? No, sir, as AJ is able to live and get back to ledge.
Oh, you mean to tell me, okay, I was going to say, you mean to tell me that a forward smash from center stage isn't enough to get a kill, but a back air is? But ultimately, ball don't lie, we do see AJ ultimately go down there, lose his first stock, and now we have an even series here at 2-2, 11-11 overall.
Yeah, this Corrin player has a couple of unique setups that they've been going for, using the tech situation. Ooh, calling out the side special with the neutral special. I do think AJ thought the Corrin would try to hold it down the full way, instead getting punished as Corrin using that forward smash hitbox on the blade to keep a little bit of shield pressure going. It doesn't lock you in. You just need to hold your shield for a little bit, and then you're able to roll out. But beyond that, we should see an interaction now. Another back air, but this time from the Corrin is going to be able to take out this stock on AJ, as AJ is looking to get a final hit of his own.
Yeah, that was interesting to watch. AJ kind of struggling to get back on stage and really regain any control, as he kind of got caught with, I mean, completely exposed as he tried to side B after a whiff from this Corrin, but both times going well punished by Aether Espida. So taking a stock, right? AJ kind of struggling to find his footing, but well up now into the hundreds is this Corrin, as now just about any combo would finish it, as finds the side B, unable to capitalize, though the forward smash does not quite land, and once again we find AJ in a bit of a disadvantaged position.
Yeah, we're seeing the pins start to slow down a little bit from this Corrin player. They're trying to play a little bit more of a control game, as AJ calls out the neutral special this time with a little bit of a faster reaction, means that he's able to close out that stock and get so much value, as now we will see AJ in a bit of an awkward spot, but able to get the grab off as Corrin goes back for the center stage control, and AJ looking for his next opportunity to get his up tilt game going.
Yeah, and it's going to be in moments like this where you need to be aware of how small the stage is, right? When you get up to a percentage like 80%, I wouldn't generally consider kill percent on other stages. I mean, we saw a back air from AJ kill at center stage. I think I've said that a couple times now, and we're seeing the aerials come out from this Corrin now trying to finish the job. 66% though on Corrin, so AJ is absolutely still in this.
Yes, we will see. The back airs now are going to be enough, so AJ is in a bit of an awkward spot, but he is able to get this grab punish. They're not mashing! They're not mashing! He's just going for the pummel one after another, getting as much damage as he can. I think he was hoping for a mashed breakout and potentially get a follow-up on the Corrin after, but
they just didn't.
Yeah, they just kept hitting buttons,
nice.
Which means AJ is able to get a nice chunk of percent and get the Corrin down to the bottom blast zone with a down air spike.
Yeah, able to really take control there at the end, as we saw the analysis, the realization of a lack of mashing led to quite a bit of damage on all of those pummels, and sure enough, one end of the stage to the other leads to a relatively easy down air, and a spike into the blast zone will mean AJ advances to watch and go up against player number 2.
Yes, and there are plenty of times in Smash Bros. Ultimate where you do not want to mash. Like you're in a grab, or you're buried by Banjo or K. Rool or anything like that, or you're in Jigglypuff Rest, whatever it is. Or Sleep, excuse me. But with all of that, those are very niche situations. The moment you see yourself get grabbed, it's okay to take your like 1 or 2 pummels of realization that like, oh, I'm in a grab. You don't want to just sit there and be like, they're not going to keep pummeling. Like
they'll
people
throw
will
me
just
eventually.
keep going.
Yeah, no, I don't think we've really ever seen anything like that, at least on this desk. But you know, stuff like that happens, right? It's a learning moment, I'm sure. We saw AJ have a couple learning moments in that as well. He got punished by the same exact move 2 times in a row, which is certainly not something you want to do at this level of competition, is make the same mistake twice. But so far, AJ coming out unscathed. Well, not quite unscathed. He did lose 2 stocks in there, but we'll advance. We take a look at some replays here, retell the story of how we got here. AJ started off strong, but ultimately not a completely clean performance that we might be used to seeing here.
Going back to what I said at the beginning of this broadcast, look at when AJ is able to take these stocks. It's on the jumps forward. Corrin is the one who needed to take the initiative, unless we saw there that neutral B interaction where AJ was fast enough to get that this time around. But even there, the up special going towards Falco. Falco given the time to get his setup going, and it all just fell into place. Now, I don't know. You have one player that we are aware of playing Incineroar that could be sent in here, right? We talked a little bit about like their problems and stuff like that. But I also wouldn't be surprised if we see potentially another swordy level of character trying to space out this Falco, because it worked relatively well. It was a lot of back and forth on, I won't say niche interactions, but like knowledge check interactions where both players would be in a situation and one person would go for a move and say, all right, I'm going for this. Do you know what you need to do fast enough? For AJ, it was using the side special into that neutral special. For the Corrin player, it was just letting go a little early.
Yeah, the interesting thing now, obviously, is, we can sit here and speculate a lot, and we tend to do that on these Smash broadcasts here. Like we said, we fully expect to see an Incineroar somewhere in here, probably last. The only other name that was thrown out was Joker as a maybe. Like, this player, they were described to me as this player plays random, but sometimes plays Joker. So that's really the only name I can throw out as like a potential option. And do you think that character meets your criteria?
I'm a little bit more hooked on the random bit of that. We had someone who mained random here at SU, Alexander T. Krisak, for a little bit, was maining random, but I don't know. It's so, like, it's shaky. It's not consistent, and as much as I would love to say, oh, I main everyone, no, you don't. There are so many knowledge checks in this game that it could end up biting you in the long run.
Yeah, so now I believe we have just received word from our production team that the player coming in next for UWG will be an Aegis player, a Pyra Mithra. So now that we know the answer, I'm going to ask the same question. Does Pyra Mithra meet that criteria?
Oh, this is difficult, Chris, because on the one hand, you do, it's a sword character, right? You do have that spacing potential and all of that. Mithra, generally, I would argue, has the frame advantage on Falco and a lot of these setups and sort of neutral interactions. But then there's Pyra. And Pyra is used to close out the stocks, and truly, you don't play one without the other in 99% of situations. However, I feel like if you are on Pyra and you can't find this stock, AJ may be able to walk away with 1, 2, if not a full sweep, just taking advantage off of that alone.
Yeah, and we know that Pyra Mithra is, I don't want to use the term objectively, but like widely regarded, almost undeniably one of the best characters in the game, right? This character is so flexible, they're so strong in so many ways. I mean, we'll see if that's enough, right? Ultimately, all this player needs to do is take one stock off AJ, and we have a tie game. So, we shall see, right? It's easy for us to sit here and talk about it. Why not sit around and watch it as we load into our second matchup here? AJ, with one stock remaining, has to now take on player number 2 from University of Western Georgia, Pyra Mithra.
A very interesting stage that I would argue definitely benefits Falco for exactly what we were talking about. If AJ wants to hold on to this stock for as long as possible, once that Pyra is swapped in, a stage with incredibly high blast zones could be the one to do it, but don't underestimate the value that Pyra has, as we will see Mithra to start things off immediately eating a handful of lasers from AJ, and AJ just keeping a good distance, making sure that if he's going in, he's going to get a little bit of an advantage going, and if he doesn't get that hit, he's making sure to space himself away.
Yeah, AJ certainly making his presence felt here early on, saying, I will not go down easy. May have lost 2 stocks in this first matchup, but he's going to make sure he gets some extra credit here if he's got anything to say about it. Now, well up there in the percentages, almost 100%, as AJ has remained more or less untouched, and now with great edge control, the Pyra Mithra opting to up special right at the ledge. Does make it back, but a long launch across the stage won't quite finish the job. A great dodge there, but 122% is certainly not where you'd want to be if you are UWG right now trying to get rid of this AJ.
Yeah, now I will say one good jump back air call out is going to get AJ yet another stock, and he is sitting pretty right now, 48%, and this Mithra, who's generally the combo builder, is not getting a ton of value at the moment. These hits are relatively just stray hits, as we do see one good side special does build a solid, say, 20+% off of that, as now here comes Pyra. This is the dangerous spot, right? You can lose your stock on almost any of these hits. The Aegis player going for the tomahawk grab, AJ jumping out of the way, is already starting to get this combo going, and here's where it's starting to pay off. Pyra being a little bit slower and not having that foresight means that she's just eating so much damage, and as long as AJ isn't taking another stray hit or 2, he may be able to take 2 more stocks.
Yeah, this is where, I mean, we have seen SU in this exact position too many times just this semester, where players, other schools are faced with the task of taking out the one remaining stock on an SU player, but before they can even blink, the SU player is taking 1, 2, even 3 stocks off of player number 2, and these other schools find themselves in an overwhelming hole to climb out of. In this game, AJ is in a rhythm right now.
Yeah, look at him. Again, spacing out, trying to get the Pyra to go for options, only for the Falco to jump in, using the up air, keeping Pyra in the air. We aren't seeing an up special from the Pyra yet, as a Nair will come out. Is it going to be enough? It is. AJ played so incredibly well and did exactly what he needed to for that match to play out this way, but one stray hit that entire time was enough to hit that last hit for that stock. He played amazing, 5 stocks in hand, but Pyra Mythra is still in the game.
Yes, and ultimately, that was the goal, right? That was the job, that was the task that I was just describing. Get AJ off the screen. And so, with that behind them right now, UWG still in it, right? Player number 2 against player number 2, but with only 1 stock remaining for this Aegis, certainly not where you want to be, and God knows who SU has remaining to come in right now.
Yeah, lots of players, I can tell, are getting very excited behind us, watching not only the varsity match, but also the academy match, which, to my understanding, the academy players are doing pretty well at the moment.
Yeah, they certainly sound very happy.
Yeah, been hearing a lot of pop-offs, which is great, but what that means is whoever calls this next match is itching for it, and as we do get a little bit of a player feed, I think we may see Willie in the hot seat.
Uh-oh, Kevin. It looks like, I mean, I won't confirm it just yet because it's hard to say for sure, and while we wait to confirm our next player in, let's take another look at how AJ was able to take 2 more stocks off of this UWG lineup. I mean, you said it, he played incredible.
Yeah, look at how he spaces this, dancing around all of these options that the Pyra player had to offer, making sure he was spacing out to the best of his ability. But that side B, I didn't realize that's what the move was that sent him in. He spaced it right. He was outside on startup, but the Nair lingered long enough that he was able to shoot himself into it. And that's what made him go down. Now, we do see player camp, Chris.
Kevin.
The gates of hell are opening up. There's a scary demon man potentially showing up.
Yeah,
oh, no.
This room just got a lot hotter as a scary demon man appears to have entered the room. And look, I'm not gonna sugarcoat it. If you are a UWG fan, that is not what you just wanted to see on your screen, because this player has done borderline miraculous things for Shenandoah.
Oh, absolutely.
We have seen Kip go in and get 12 stocks twice this semester alone.
Yeah.
But usually, you know, that I certainly don't mean to downplay that, but it's usually against opponents that I don't want to say expect it, but like you can kind of tell when it's happening that Kip is an incredible player. They can't figure it out. But when the pressure's on, we have seen Willie do, again, borderline miraculous things, including a LAN title at Game Mason earlier this year, taking 8 stocks, count them, 8 stocks, 3 players, without losing 1 stock, because he lost his first 2 stocks immediately.
Yeah, it was a very dangerous game.
I mean, like, it's incredible what this player is capable of. We talked about it a little bit pre-game, but it's about to happen, Kevin.
Yeah, I always worry a little bit when this character is on screen, but I also get excited because I get to gush about just what all this character has to offer in this game. And as we hop into this, we are on Town and City, a relatively flat stage. The platforms are a little bit out of the way, which means that we may see some electric combos go crazy. Now, Willie doing some crouch dashes, trying to create a little bit of space as this Pyra Mythra is doing a good job spacing it. Oh, here comes the grab. 1 electric. Here we go. Boom. Another electric onto the platform. 57% is already built up, and we're not even 30 seconds into this game.
I mean, how terrifying is that interaction alone, if Willie was able to get one more read in there, could have spelled death for this Pyra Mythra player, and he will catch them on the ground. A grab opting for the throw off stage instead of what could have been a kill secure, but ultimately a kill secure nonetheless, as Pyra Mythra unable to make it back from that. And 1 stock down means that we hear that lovely Kazuya Mishima wins.
Yeah, you could tell Willie is sitting, like, kind of getting into that locked-in mentality. I think Willie is kind of looking forward to this, trying to be like, let me show what I can do. I haven't gotten my chance to show what all is possible on this broadcast just yet. We were not streaming that game, Mason Land. We can only talk so much about it.
Yeah.
What we have seen here was the performance that you saw in the replay, and yes, that's great. He truly showed his stuff, but I think he is itching. The fires are getting red hot for him to show what he is all about, and I'm all for it.
Yeah, I am too. I mean, it's hard to not get excited when you hear somebody with such a competitive fire in them talk yesterday about having to sit back and watch everyone else on the team get to play except him. Like, that's not something you hear from somebody who is lazy or unmotivated. I mean, this is a player that is out for blood and not afraid to show it when he wants.
Oh, yeah. And it's not like I wish I got to play sort of thing. No, he was giving kudos to all the players. He was popping off whenever they were getting their stocks. When Kip got the 12 stock, you could see him getting excited. But everybody, I mean, you want to play your game. Like, it's a real factor to this. So seeing Willie sent in and sort of getting into that locked-in mentality, he's not just sort of going in and being like, oh, haha, like, let me just mess around and all this stuff. No, he's trying to do something menacing right now.
Yeah, and he has the potential to do so, right? He doesn't really need to, I guess, showboat, like, to exude pressure, right? The character by itself already is intimidating in its nature. We use the term scary demon man as a joke up here, but I mean, you see the character for yourself, right? You've got your own eyes. You can tell that this is a terrifying character to play against, and it's so interesting to watch other players drastically change their playstyle when they're faced up against a Kazuya, because it completely redefines Smash Bros. And it did when this character came out.
Oh, yeah. When we saw just now that Pyramithra start this game, they were playing a little aggressive to start things off, and they were getting good damage catching Willie on crouch dashes and stuff like that. And it was all fine and good. And then they got grabbed once. 56% built up. And then the Pyramithra player jumped away and was saying, hi, okay, I got to space this scary demon man out, when he starts crouch dashing repeatedly towards the Pyramithra and gets another electric, and suddenly it all just falls into place from there. It was 2 to 3 combos, 2 to 3 interactions of Mishima on this screen. It's scary stuff.
It is. It's very scary. Scary Demon Man is something to watch. Now, we have received word from our production team once again that the next man up, the next competitor to try and take out this Kazuya is a Zelda.
Okay, so Zelda is a bit of a unique case for this matchup, because I think Zelda's neutral special might be able to get her out of the electric loops. So, like, he will connect the electric, but if he goes for a nair afterwards, Zelda might be able to get that move off fast enough if Willie's timing is not extremely precise. So there is a bit of a save there. And also, any character, if you want any character to sit at a range, at a distance, with a little bit of protection as well, that giant suit of armor dashing horizontally through the stage is going to stop Kazuya in his tracks a lot. So what's going to happen is Willie needs to find his opportunities to either jump in or roll in, and Zelda needs to get the call out on which one of those two 50-50s is the right one, and it could lead to Zelda getting a good amount of damage or Willie potentially 0 to death.
Yeah, and I raise a question to you, because just last game we mentioned that the Kazuya was able to get in after the playstyle change with multiple crouch dashes. Could a crouch dash spam get through that Phantom or no?
Depends on how built the Phantom is.
Okay.
The Phantom has like about 4 stages, if I remember correctly, of armor.
Okay.
And I believe if it's just like the gloves and the boots, he may be able to just sort of crouch duck under it. But if it's the full thing, Kazuya, when he crouch dashes, is invincible from about the ankles up for just a little bit of time.
Okay.
And so the Phantom strikes his sword through the ground and goes
down,
upwards. So you will be able to crouch dash through, say, when Zelda used the fire move. If it blows up a little high. Kazuya may crouch dash underneath it. But that Phantom, if it's a full charge, that will not be the answer.
Okay, so that's interesting. And I admittedly did not know that he wasn't completely invincible.
Yes, but there is one other factor that just hit me now. Kazuya has a reflector. If Zelda gets a little too antsy with her Phantom, that Phantom will turn traitorous and launch that princess to the heavens.
No. Okay, well, we'll keep an eye out for it, but immediate crouch dashes come out as Willie looking to take this advantage and snowball it into something even greater. So far, yep, we see the matchup preference come in. Willie making it known that he's not worried about Zelda at all.
Yeah, there's that neutral special coming in already as Zelda goes off stage, using a jump to get back onto the stage. And this is sort of the game plan you want when dealing with Kazuya. Yes, he has great combo moves, as we do see it. The combo gets started here. Electric onto the platform, immediately into the rising. One good uppercut to the face means that Willie walks away with a stock just like that. Yes, Zelda's been getting good chip damage, but here we go. Grab into the nair. Zelda able to air dodge out. Is Kazuya going to be able to get a follow-up? Not yet, as Zelda goes for a grab. Oh, Kazuya went for the electric and beats it out.
Yeah, just barely missing the spike on that neutral air there. Yeah, but we see, I mean, all the pressure we were talking about, right, is now the comeback mechanic needs to be factored in too. We haven't even really had to talk about this yet on this broadcast, but the kill button is online, and just like that, it's gone. And actually, Willie does get caught getting a little too aggressive and catches a forward smash to the face.
Yes, I mean, Willie has been getting really good damage so far, but 2 boots in the face of Zelda will send her off stage twice.
Dude.
The rising hit won't be enough as an up smash into the face of Zelda. She wanted the ledge, instead landed right into Kazuya's arms. One electric. Chris, the nair reset. The neutral special coming out from the Zelda, able to get them out of that combo as another electric comes out into the reset, into the immediate nair, and Zelda is at 97, goes for the roll. We haven't seen a neutral get up from this Zelda yet, and I wouldn't be surprised if we don't see it for a while longer. I think Willie wanted a forward smash there, I'm not going to lie.
Probably.
He wanted to armor through that jab and just let it all fly. But right now, the Zelda's doing a good job of getting a good amount of spacing going, but is it enough?
Wow,
no,
that just
sir.
kills.
The neutral special off of the electric will take the stock, as Willie does lose one, but one of a very good answer to this Kazuya is taken out.
Yeah, and I mean, Willie just continuing this tear. But, I mean, you said it. He did lose one stock in there. We saw a moment of clarity come out as an answer to Kazuya may have been found. But, yeah, a couple interactions in there from Willie, you know, running into jabs or getting caught in that forward smash, maybe getting a little too aggressive. But ultimately not enough to put him away. So with that said, there's one player remaining from this Western Georgia squad that has to find an answer for Willie and 2 more players in order to take a lead in this series.
Yes, and we know 2 characters that could be seen. Either Joker, a character who is seen at a top-level performance who does incredibly well, or Incineroar. And I have to tell you, Chris, as we look at these replays, these characters that we see on screen had distance and were able to deal with Kazuya a little bit. It just wasn't enough. And now you have 2 people who need to be in Kazuya's face to deal damage. I'm scared.
Yeah, I would take Kazuya over literally any character that meets that definition of needing to be in your face. Like, we consider this sort of brawl, you know, man, hands out play style, but Kazuya just comes out on top in those matchups, right? And it's for all the reasons that we just watched in those replays. All of the stuns, all of the different hitboxes, and the combo strings that other characters just can't match.
Yeah, now, I should acknowledge, everyone goes on like Twitter or YouTube or any other social media platform and they will see Kazuya 0 to deaths left, right, and center.
Right.
But it's not easy.
No, not at all.
If you see Willie multiple times, he will go for the jump and go for the nair follow-up, and people are able to air dodge out. There are frames, single-digit frames of making sure that that is true. And while the buffer system in Smash Ultimate is very nice, it can work against Willie if he wants to get these follow-ups for a Nair into another electric or getting the trip or anything like that. It truly needs to be precise, and we're in an online environment. So there are so many factors. We could see another 0 to death here, but I don't know. There's so much that could go into it.
Yeah, and we talk so highly of Kazuya as a character, one, because he's on our team, and two, because this character is loaded. This character has so many things that other characters, frankly, could only dream of. But you're right. It comes down to execution, right? It's not easy to do what this man behind me is doing for all of you at home. And you say single-digit frame. Remind me, Smash is a 60-frame game or 30?
Yes.
60?
I believe.
So we're talking, when he says single-digit frames, we're talking a sixth of a second is your window to get out of some of these combos. Incredible. And is, I guess, also the same window that Willie has to then react and capitalize or predict or whatever. This is high-level execution, high-level Smash Bros. Play, and it's so much fun for us to watch and hype up and all that. But it's impressive, it's incredible, and not easy at all.
Yeah, I do wonder, because we have seen a bunch of different playstyles trying to deal with Willie. I think Zelda is one of the better options for like a zoner. We've seen Lucas on this desk, who kind of plays a bit of a 50-50, right? He can zone with the PK Fire and the PK Freeze, but also has very good aerials to sort of stay in the face of whoever he's dealing with. And then you have the Ken player from last week, who, again, another great option for like getting in close. We saw the Aegis, who had a couple of good hits. We've covered 4 or 5 different archetypes, and none of them have been able to take out this man. There are very few niche picks that might be able to, and I don't. There may be one scary demon man on Shenandoah's roster, but there is another scary block man who could potentially be a threat, but we haven't seen him on this broadcast this semester.
Or ever, I don't think. I don't think we've really seen Shenandoah as a team have to go up against a Steve player. Which is kind of interesting to think about, actually, because this character is regarded as, like, bannably good, right? There are tournaments that don't allow people to play Steve because of certain benefits he has, certain interactions he has that are considered genuinely unfair. And so when you factor that in to these NACE competitions and the NECC competitions that we see on other days, it is kind of interesting that we haven't seen a Steve go up against Willie, let alone anybody.
Yeah, because not only is this character just so powerful, so commanding, while also being able to zone out and has an arguably very frustrating play pattern, there are so many ways that this character on paper should be able to be dealt with, but he has damage follow-ups to the level of Kazuya. But not only that, let's take a look at another DLC character. We haven't seen many Min players on this broadcast either. And you want to talk about zoning. You want to talk about keeping Kazuya Mishima at arm's length.
Literally.
Yeah. Min is the character to do it. But I don't know. There's so many options. We just haven't seen those characters. Teams haven't had those answers, which means that they're dealing on the back foot with a character whose momentum is unsurmountable.
Yeah, and I'm personally reaching a point where we talk so much about like archetypes and without getting into specific characters, right? You said it. Projectile characters, swordies, up in your face, the ranged spacey that's not quite projectile based, but like any type of category that you could put a Smash character into seems to have been tried already, and none of them have worked, which is now taking me to a point where character is no longer the answer against Willie. You need to go out there and be a better Smash player than him. And when that is the stipulation, that's a tiny percentage of the world that can call themselves better than this player.
Let's put this into perspective, y'all. Supernova happened over this summer. And generally, if you are considered to be a good player, you will make it to day 2 of this competition and go up against some truly remarkable players. And not only did we see one of SU's players go in, we saw 3 make it to day 2. Igloo, Kip, and Willie. With Willie, I believe, having the longest run, going down to the best Samus in the world.
I mean, need I say more? Like, if we're talking on paper, the type of archetype that might beat Kazuya is that range, although we haven't seen it work here. So the one time we found success against Willie was, or at least in recent memory, you're right, was at Supernova, and it took the best Samus player in the world to go out there and do it. And it was so close, too. I don't mind telling you. But anyway, I mean, ultimately, we, at least on this desk, have yet to see anybody come up with an answer for Willie, and we await to see if anybody will. But for now, we are going to take a quick break as we are waiting to see if some technical difficulties are being sorted. So don't go anywhere. We'll be back with more Willie Kazuya action after this. With one player left to try to contest Willie's Kazuya, University of Western Georgia will make their final push to try to take this first set in this Shenandoah UWG series. Chris Clayton back on the desk. Kevin joining me as always as we are getting straight into the action as Willie will take one of his stocks to set the count straight. 8 stocks to 3 stocks, 1 player remaining. Here we go, Kevin.
Yep, and the electrics are already coming out strong. Joker is already at 53%, and look at the matchup favorability already. 4 preferability up against one of the best characters in this game, arguably, as we do see a good amount of neutral special coming out from the Joker. A good up smash charge will be able to send Joker up to the heavens as Kazuya Mishima waits in the Devil's ground below.
Yeah, we have been back on this stage for less than a minute, at least it feels like, and already Willie is swinging. I mean, finding his combos, finding his way in with relative ease and making reads like that. What can a Joker do? Can't quite get the up smash that time around, so no kill confirmed just yet, but 120% with little to no effort will mean that, I mean, with 2 stocks remaining, this is terrifying territory.
Yes, and Arsene is gone. That Arsene backer would have been able to take Kazuya out at that point, but Willie doing a good job of pacing this game. 2 of the little jabs will be able to get Joker's shield a little lower as he rolls away, not wanting to get hit by that kill button, Chris. He's glowing red. He's crouch dashing at incredibly high speeds, looking for this grab. Goes for the up smash, is not able to get it as Joker goes for the up smash and is also just barely missing.
Yeah, there has been a bit of a tempo change so far as we do see the kill button not actually come out. That was just the normal version of that move, so the kill button does go away there, but this Joker doing a good job of actually stalling the game out a little bit. Willie came out with such momentum, but ultimately the game slows down. Everybody able to find their footing a little bit more, but I mean, I say that, Willie still has not lost a stock, right? This is so comfortable for him as he's able to make stall plays like this, make his way back to stage from just about anywhere.
Yeah, and we hear a little bit of that electric static as Willie opts to go high, is able to make it back. Here comes one electric, goes for the Nobi, and brings Joker back down, but he got Arsene! He made it back, Chris!
That was incredible. I mean, that's borderline just lucky. I mean, like, there's nothing that Willie did wrong in that sense, and sure enough, he's going to say ball does not lie and put that ball right into the back of the net. He puts it away, takes set number 1 here, and takes Shenandoah in the lead in this series.
We would have saw a repeat of last time Willie was here, once again completing the storyline of this demon returning back to the place where he belongs, and yet Arsene, in true Persona fashion, saves Joker from the depths and brings him back to the heavens.
Yeah, I mean, an incredible moment there as that Joker was able to survive what would have been a pretty flashy way for Willie to end it, but ultimately he doesn't need it, right? He comes right off that spawn platform, finds 1 electric, and all of a sudden the Joker's dead. So, I mean, incredible stuff as always. So impressive, so much fun to watch. Willie taking care of business, and Shenandoah takes the lead.
Yes, now we have 4 characters for us to speculate. Do you change this roster going around? We may see AJ go in first again, which means that I wouldn't expect these sorties to start off, but I also know that a lot of these players may be itching to play too. We may see someone else. We may see Igloo come in who hasn't been on today, or potentially Kip, and we know how scary the Pack God is.
Yeah, we have seen Kip take 12 stocks consecutively 2 times this semester, but only time will tell what the Shenandoah strategy will be, as we are going to take one more quick break before we load into set number 2 for what could be the exciting conclusion to the Shenandoah regular season if they're able to take this one more remaining set ahead of them. So don't go anywhere. We have plenty more Smash Bros to bring your way, and we will see you on the other side of this break. Welcome back, everybody, to our humble abode and what could be the exciting conclusion of Super Smash Bros. NACE competition for the regular season. My name is Chris Clayton, and I am joined, as always, by my lovely brother, Kevin. Hi, Kevin. We just watched something incredible. We just watched Willie go 7 stocks straight while only losing, I believe, 2, and one of them, once again, due to his own choices, right? Opting to kill himself to try to get a stock. It didn't actually quite work out for him, but we'll take a look at these stats here as, I mean, an incredible performance, as always, as has become expected out of this player.
I am very close to just calling Willie Mishima, because look at him. He's got the arm cross pose down, and he lives and breathes this character. He's been picking up Tekken as well. He's truly starting to get a whole new understanding of not only this character and these franchises, but just competition as a whole, and had an amazing performance because of it. 7 stocks, Chris. That's a lot to be taking in any crew battle.
Yeah, and how disappointing is it that has become expected? Like, it's almost underwhelming to only see 7. And how terrible is that I even have to sit here and say that? That's how strong and well-rounded of a player that Willie has become in his 2 years here at Shenandoah. And it's been so much fun for us to watch, and hopefully just as much fun for all of you to watch from home. But now, moving into set number 2, I, unfortunately for us, would not be surprised if Willie stays back on this one. We might see the other players get a little bit more playtime, right? Who knows if Igloo wants to give himself an opportunity to get some game time in before playoffs. We will see. I talked a little bit before the first series about how I was expecting our starting lineup to be the main competitors today, but we may have received word that might not be true.
Yes, we have seen over the last couple of weeks, Far Rhombus has been doing an amazing job on just making his presence known on this team. He was put in as a sub for the main roster, but I think as he has been given more time to show what all he knows, he's become a very almost explosive player in nature and has been doing very consistent job of taking stocks. So as we get into this game, we will see Far Rhombus is in, and that means he is going to show his work as we see a button check on screen.
Oh, we sure do. I didn't even put that together. But yes, in case it wasn't obvious by us talking about Farombus, the cat is out of the bag, the Pokemon is out of the Pokeball. It will be Farombus coming in to start Shenandoah off in this second series.
I'm excited because when you talk Jigglypuff, it kind of has this bad omen about it from old Smash Bros. People don't tend to really like how Hungrybox took his approach of Jigglypuff back in the Melee days, and because of that, it's kind of had this weird aura around this character where you bring up the name and people are just like, oh god, not this puffball.
Yeah.
But this Jigglypuff, Farombus's Jigglypuff, is like weirdly aggressive. He dances around your shield so much and is very good at the whiff punish game. And not only that, he's kind of flashy too. He's been going for these Sing setups, and I'm hoping we get to see one of those today.
Yeah, I was just about to mention that too. Keep an eye out for the Sings, right? This is something that we don't see a ton of come out of modern Jigglypuff players. Because it's such an interesting move. There's an egregious amount of end lag on that move, right?
Oh.
As soon as Farombus presses the up and B button, he's stuck in that animation for so long. So it's a heavy commit, but he can do just about whatever he wants coming out of it if it lands.
Yeah, and not only that, I mean, I would argue it is probably the worst move in Jigglypuff's arsenal, which is saying something, because if that is the worst, if a free setup into a rest is your worst move, you've got some good stuff going for your kit. But on top of that, the move just doesn't always seem to work as intended. You seem to have interactions where people will be next to Jigglypuff, they'll be in the middle of a move, miss Jigglypuff, Jigglypuff will sing, and then they will hold shield and still be able to get it off without falling asleep. So if we do see it, we're going to want to hope it's with like a jab reset sort of deal where Pit is stuck in place, or Dark Pit, excuse me, is going to be stuck in place just trying to figure out a way, how do I get away from the scary balloon?
Yeah, and I guess the theme of this month has been scary, and that's oddly topical because it's October.
Spooky.
But yeah, we do know that based off that button check, we assume that the opponent will be this Dark Pit, and that's a character that we really don't see at most levels of competition, at least in my opinion.
I view Pit and Dark Pit under the same tree. You're absolutely right, Chris, because the character is the definition of well-rounded. Jigglypuff may be a circle, but Pit and Dark Pit's kit is probably just the most well-rounded, most average kit in the game that does exactly what you need it to. But if you want to keep up with the characters who truly have some wacky mechanics, you have to be on your A game, as Yaron, the Dark Pit player, is already racking up 43% on this puff.
Yeah, and if I'm not mistaken, this is the same player that we saw go in as the anchor in the first set. This player played Joker last set against Willie's Kazuya. So opting to switch to the Dark Pit is a pretty large switch, characters and playstyle-wise. But we see both of these characters kind of establishing their game plan, right? A lot of the same, but an aggressive forward smash puts Dark Pit in an uncomfortable situation. And look how deep Farombus goes to finish that one off, taking first blood in set number 2 here.
These two characters have multiple jumps and pretty good recoveries for getting back onto the stage and edge guarding each other. But I mean, look how far off Farombus was able to go as a forward smash call out from the Pit. One good dash back will be able to take out this Jigglypuff. And while yes, Farombus has been getting good percent, 63, chasing this Pit down in the blast zone. He only has the up special to get back as a back air connects. 90% on the board as Dark Pit is able to make it back and now is going to start trying to get a little bit of damage on this Jigglypuff.
Yeah, and a big storyline from yesterday when we saw Farombus play for both Shenandoah series that we watched last night. the players that were sent in to deal with this Jigglypuff had awful recoveries, quite frankly. So this is the first time we're seeing Farambus have to play off stage against a character that can recover from incredible distances. And we've seen that already a couple times today. We're also seeing the super armor on that side B, right? That can absolutely become a factor when Pit needs to find a way to survive off stage. And we'll see how often that may come into play.
Yeah, not only that, it always sends sideways as opposed to Pits, which sends upwards. And when you're dealing with these sort of off-stage interactions where both players are going to be taking each other off of the side like that back air, that means that you have to be aware at all times that at any point, yes, you may have the lead off stage and you're chasing your opponent, but one good reversal could speak deadly in this sort of situation.
Yeah, now we're starting to see the combos really come out. A lot of stray hits both ways have been the name of this matchup so far, but now finally starting to see the combo game come out as now this Pit able to find a neutral air out of the shield, rack up some damage as now Farambus finds himself at a pretty high percentage and on a very low character. That is certainly uncomfortable, but with a stock advantage, not feeling too scared just yet, but might start feeling a little scared now as he catches a side B promptly to the face, launched well across the screen and into the blast zone.
Yes, a good Jigglypuff Nair trying to call the roll in. Instead, Dark Pit rolls out, getting a little closer to that blast zone as the Electroshock has been doing so much for this Dark Pit, as we do see Farambus going very far off stage, and Dark Pit trying to go for that reversal I was talking about earlier, but it doesn't connect on the spike box as Jigglypuff starts throwing out these back airs, and Yaron is still sitting back as Farambus is just sort of dancing around the Dark Pit options. Going off stage, here come the back airs, Chris. One foot into another as the Nair will be able to close it out, and we are in a very similar situation to last time.
Yeah, I mean, a strong showing there from Farambus, who is listed as one of the subs, but ultimately goes in as a starter here today and gets the job done, right? A player that went in last in the set number 1, going in first against one of our subs, and the sub coming out on top is certainly a storyline that should be focused on.
Oh, yeah, and you have this player now keeping up with someone on the main roster, which means we could see more of Farambus in situations where Falco may not be comfortable dealing with a certain matchup, but Jigglypuff being so floaty and being able to almost dance methodically around what the opponent has to offer, this could be a great time for Shenandoah's roster to really showcase that, yes, having these extra players and understanding your matchup charts could be extremely beneficial.
Yeah, you raise a great point. I mean, all of a sudden it might not be good for us to keep referring to them as subs. Like, with a playstyle like that and results like this, it's worth mentioning that sometimes Farambus might be better to put in certain situations. This has evolved beyond just putting players in for the sake of getting playtime, for the sake of the future of this team. And now it's absolutely strategy. It's on the table. If certain matchups dictate a playstyle like that, we know we've got that in our back pocket.
Oh, yeah. I want to talk a little bit. When you deal with the growth of a Smash Bros. Player, you teach them all the fundamental mechanics of the game. You say, okay, here you have all these moves if you press different directions and A or B respectively. And you start growing them. You start building them from that very low base ground. My checkpoint for when a player is considered to be very good is when they are comfortable off stage. If they are able to chase down their opponents and prevent them from recovering and risk sometimes that reversal, but understand the value it brings if you are able to take stocks either early or just secure them, the game doesn't end just because your opponent was sent off stage. You are allowed to follow them into that blast zone and make sure they are gone.
Yeah, and it truly can be so scary for an overwhelming majority of players to go off stage, risk losing their own stock in the name of securing an enemy stock that you kind of already feel like is gone, right? It's such a high risk reward that can be very hard to put yourself into, but you're right. I mean, that's such a massive hurdle that truly separates high-level players from everybody else. So it's so exciting to see our subs. Now I'm going to use that in parentheses or in quotation marks. Seeing our subs be that comfortable and be out there executing.
Yeah, I think we've seen that from both Farambus and Splice. Both players are starting to get into that habit of making sure, hey, I need to get as much value as I can, just following, making sure even the little hits, it could be one extra hit, 10%, can make a world of difference. We can speculate all day, well, if they had an extra hit, that back air may have been able to kill, and all of that. It turns into traditional sports level of, well, if he caught this pass, the game would have been completely different.
Sure. Yeah, I mean, we can sit here and say what ifs, but what ifs are always a slippery slope. And now, I mean, as we talk about how bad speculation can be, hey, Kevin, let's speculate. We saw last series 4 different characters come out. We know player-wise that the player who was on Joker in set number 1 just played Dark Pit right in front of us.
Yeah.
So I think it's safe for us to assume that Joker's not coming out of these next 3 characters, which means we're left with a Corrin, a Zelda, and another player.
Yeah, Corrin, Zelda, and why am I forgetting this last player?
Pyramithra.
Yes.
So, against Jigglypuff, and I talked about it a lot yesterday, and I guess I mentioned it during that series too, the importance of having a recovery to be able to deal with Jigglypuff going off stage. None of those characters have an incredible recovery.
Right, and so if you can get Farambus to find that position where they can get a throw or some sort of easy way to push them off even slightly, Jigglypuff is willing to just almost carry them far off stage and then make their way back. What I'm thinking is you don't, as simple as this may sound, it's hard in execution, you don't end up in that situation. I'm expecting potentially the Corrin to come in next because they will be able to zone out and they match the floatiness of Jigglypuff. They can kind of stay in these awkward spaces where both players will miss each other. The big difference being Jigglypuff has tiny little, like, things for hands, and then Corrin has a chainsaw sword that is able to pop balloons like nothing.
Now, we have received an interesting word from our production team here that, if I'm not mistaken, we're getting a Sonic as the answer to this Jigglypuff. I mean, we'll see, but that seems to be the lead we have. So Sonic is not a character we saw in set number 1, but Sonic as a character, I would think would do pretty good into Jigglypuff.
Yeah, I mean, it's a runaway game, right? It's hard for Jigglypuff to sort of dance around Sonic when he's not going to be in shield for a majority of this game if he is playing the runaway game that so many Sonic players tend to do. So, as we hop into this game, keep an eye on whether or not the Sonic sits in his shield or not. If he does, that means that Farambus may have the opportunity to get some damage going, but on the other side of that, if the Sonic is dashing around, it's going to be the off-stage interactions that may become most critical.
Yes, and now we have the pleasure of watching what will happen. Enough speculation, as that is what we seem to be best at.
No way, Chris.
Series matchup 2 of set number 2, starting with a heck of a combo there from Farambus. But a character like Sonic, a strong recovery, makes his way all the way back. But wow, what a start.
Yeah, I mean, almost 100% unanswered is going to be so useful for Farambus, who is going for this extra credit at this point, as Sonic is doing what he needs to, is spacing out, is trying to get as much distance away from this Jigglypuff, and is trying to keep the boxing to a minimum. If he goes for the box, it's going to be off of a whiff punish, as we see there. And these side specials, the little whirl, as Sonic is just trying to dash around and make sure that Jigglypuff doesn't have a chance to get these hits. But this advantage state that Farambus has going has been very nice.
Yeah, it has been nice, but we are starting to finally see Sonic sort of settle into his rhythm and establish his game plan, right? You and I talk all the time about the importance of fighting games being able to establish your own playstyle, and we saw Farambus do that to start this game off, but since then, Sonic has settled down, right? Slowed the game down a little bit and started playing his game, but not for long enough, as a back air from center stage has done it a couple times today and will do it once more.
Yeah, that was such a good timing for Farambus because he had the opportunity to throw that back air out earlier and Sonic would have shielded it. I'm assuming that Sonic player let go, assuming Jigglypuff hit the ground, and yet it came out at just the right time for it to come and just delete this play.
Yeah, now well up over 100%. This Jigglypuff could just about pop at any moment, but we see... Oh, wow! And up air into a wrist will secure another stock off the Sonic.
Oh, man. I was surprised we didn't see it the earlier time around, and yet it was saved for that interaction there.
Oh, man.
We may see another situation. Again, Jigglypuff is at 145. Sonic is trying to make sure this Jigglypuff goes down, but a couple of good
he's running
springs
out of
means
jumps.
that they may not be able to make it back.
Okay.
Sonic going for the forward air means that we do see a return to form as 8% on the Sonic. Sonic charging that forward smash, trying to find something as the up tilt will take it. And Chris, we're in a very similar situation to last time.
Yeah, if I'm not mistaken, statistically, this is the exact same situation we saw AJ put the team in set number 1. He took 3 stocks with 1 stock remaining, went in and played aggressive, had nothing to lose, got his extra credit, got 2 stocks in a situation that neither of us, and I'm sure most of us at home, were not expecting.
Yeah, and as we look here, just a very strong back air. Look how long he delayed that back air to make sure Sonic's shield was gone. And again, Sonic was doing a really good job of dancing around, but one roll-in, one opportunity of holding DI in for just a little too long means that Sonic eats a rest and loses 1 stock that could have been critical later on.
Yeah, wow. I mean, such an impressive performance there from Farambus, though. Again, I'm so proud to be able to say that I no longer want to call them subs, right? It's so exciting being able to watch a player go out there and, again, I mean, I guess I just laid it out, get the same results that we just watched a starter get. I mean, that's so cool and so exciting for the future of this program, but Farambus ultimately goes down after taking 5 stocks. An awesome performance there, but now it's time for cool-headed himself. Igloo's coming in next, Kevin.
Yeah, as much as we would, like, we could have expected Kazuya Mishima to return and do his thing like last time. No Kazuya player wants to fight Sonic of their own free volition. That matchup is rough. Kazuya is slow. He won't be able to catch up, and Sonic will just dance around doing what Jigglypuff does, but on the ground and in the air. It's craziness. Yeah. So, who do you send in? Well, you send in Igloo, right? He has the Yoshi that could be able to dance around it, but also this is the situation that Igloo has been preparing for a little over a year now. I would not be surprised if we see the Samus come in to try and knock down a Wi-Fi Sonic.
Right. I mean, we saw it just last night. We know that Igloo has this Samus that has not received much real game time, right? An actual regulation competition showings, right? Yeah. It hasn't happened because he's so comfortable on this Yoshi, and the Yoshi can do so many things so well that this team really needs. But we saw it last night when SU was in a bit of a comfortable position, the Samus came out. And I do think with the mentality of let's get that playtime. Let's see what this character can do when I need the results, not when I'm just, on Elite Smash getting, going up against randoms that are probably significantly worse than him. And I don't know. It's going to be interesting to see. You're right. I would not be surprised if we end up seeing the Samus come out from Igloo.
Yeah. And not only do you have this Samus getting, for situations like this where you're dealing with Sonic, you remember all those characters we were talking about before, the Steves and the Min-Mins of the world, who are going to be the answer for this anchor for Shenandoah? Samus tends to do pretty well against those characters, which means that now Shenandoah has a tool in their arsenal for that exact situation. If for any reason those characters are sent in earlier on in any future crew battles, they have to get through a potentially disadvantageous matchup against a player who has been taking time to make sure they are ready for those situations.
Yeah, and we do need to think down the line, right? I'm unsure if this Sonic player was named as one of the players from the first set or not, but we assume the Joker's off the table, and I guess assuming that this Sonic is a new player, that leaves us again with either a Corrin, a Pyramithra.
Corrin, Pyramithra. How do we keep blanking on this?
This is hilarious.
Yeah.
How does this keep happening? Well, anyway, another character. So, with those characters in mind, right? Oh, Zelda.
Yes.
We got there. My bad.
Nailed it.
So, with those characters in mind, and Samus going out, right? You have to believe that Igloo is thinking beyond just this one stock, right? I mean, he has to.
Oh, yeah.
You know that Igloo is, by his own standards, expecting to take 3 or more stocks, as is expected from every Smash player, and Igloo is not your average Smash player.
Right.
So, how do you feel about Samus into any of those 3 characters beyond this Sonic?
I worry a little about the Pyramithra just because they are so aggressive. But on the other side of that, it could pay off for dealing with like the missile game and stuff like that, keeping Pyramithra at bay. And again, we'll see a similar situation where it will be on Igloo to show his stuff when Pyra is out and on the table. That's where he will have easily the best chance of closing out stocks and keeping his lead alive is, okay, yeah, I took my chip damage from Mithra over time. That's great, wonderful. But I can hold on to these stocks as long as I need to. And that's the name of a crew battle. You can hold on, go up to 250%, and then reset it back to 0 if you are able to hold on for long enough. So I'm expecting that matchup going forward, unless the Pyramithra is the random player who also randomed into Sonic, in which case, good on you. You got 2 really good characters.
Yeah.
But in that case, we have to look at Zelda or Corrin. And I would prefer probably Zelda against Samus, because then you're playing 2 zone games, and you can hide behind the Phantom against the missiles and the charge shot and all that.
Yeah.
It'll be interesting to see as we hop into game. Big Blue in the background, and Avery 3 stocks in hand to this Sonic player's 1. Let's get into it.
Yeah, strong choice here as we get underway. We have the matchup preference on the left side of your screen, indicating that Igloo on this Samus does not exactly feel super comfortable against a Sonic, and you can understand why with how this character can move at such high speeds and just run away from any setups that Igloo might look for. We'll see. I mean, we haven't seen this matchup come out, but a charged up smash. Good lord, Igloo putting that one away with ease.
0 to death comes out.
Look at that smile.
He knows.
We don't even see that very often out of him. I called him like Mr. Cool-Headed or whatever coming into this when we knew that he was coming in. And I don't say that lightly. He is the most stoic, emotionless, cool-headed player on this team. And I do not hesitate at all to give him that title. But it's fun to watch him react like that because he earned it. That was incredible.
Yeah, a true 0 to death. No damage taken off of a handful of really good callouts. We saw the Sonic player spin dash into a bomb, and Igloo, aware, seeing that, goes for a half-charged charge shot, keeps the damage going, and then gets a very nice down air spike. Sonic realizing, like, what the heck is happening? I'm dealing against the bounty hunter who is dancing around my every move. It's like they know everything about me. Air dodges down to the bottom blast zone, only for the arm cannon to be launching a massive nuke up to the heavens.
Yeah, wow. I mean, that was exactly what you want to see from any SU player in that situation. And I mentioned it earlier. That has kind of been what SU thrives in on the other side of the ball, right? When other teams are forced to just take care of business like that and knock out the one remaining stock and even a game out, they haven't really been able to do it. So Shenandoah clicking on all cylinders right now, and I mean, this machine is moving.
Can I say, if I was in this situation, if I'm looking at the standings and all of that, and seeing Shenandoah, like this roster, looking at, okay, I need to deal with Yoshi, Samus, Falco, a Jigglypuff, Pac-Man, and Kazuya, and then
Terry.
I look at the, and Terry, and I look at the entire Smash Bros. Roster, and I have to say, I need to find 4 players playing very niche picks for this answer. I don't know. Shenandoah is looking really good right now, Chris.
Yes, they are, and we can keep looking at them as we take this replay here. 0%, a 0 to death, if I'm not mistaken. Such a good play there, Kevin.
Yeah, that little bomb setup. Again, looking for this down air, right? Sonic going for the spin dash. Goes for that air dodge down. And again, Samus's up smash is a multi-hit, Chris. People fall out of that all the time,
They're
and
terrible.
It just didn't matter.
Yeah, multi-hits can be so dangerous in this game for that exact reason. You said it. People fall out of them all the time, but didn't matter that time. I wasn't even confident that the first hit of the up smash would scoop Sonic off the ground and into it, but no problems there as we are receiving word. If I'm not mistaken, this next player, is that a Marth?
I believe that's a Marth.
So that's interesting, and you all will be proud of me at home. I wrote down the 3 players so that we wouldn't forget it a third time. Expecting a Corrin or Aegis or Zelda, none of those seem to be what's coming in. A Marth is the response. So again, 3 new characters out of 3 players so far from this Western Georgia squad.
Yes, and Marth, in the eyes of the community, is viewed with one simple sentence: why not play Lucina? But I, on the other hand, am a little bit of a Marth believer, and thanks to CJ Big One, who I coached a little bit on Marth, I got to really deep dive into that character. There is some stuff you need to be worried about. We talk about crazy setups with like Pac-Man and stuff like that. Tipper setups take stock so early. It's so dangerous.
Yeah, I mean, the age-old question of, you said it, why not play Lucina? Well, if you were to describe the highs and lows of any Smash character as, you know, this sort of sine wave type behavior, Marth just has higher highs and lower lows by nature of these tippers. And if you are a good enough player to go out there and stay on the highs and not let yourself get caught in those valleys, then it does pay off, right?
Yeah.
And you said it. It's completely dependent on your ability to go out there and get those tippers, find these setups that only Marth can do because of those hitboxes. So why not just play Lucina? Because if you're good enough to do it, go out there and do it.
Yeah. I mean, when you take the time to learn your character, there is a reason why for so long the entire community was like, play whoever you want. The roster is relatively balanced around
Shockingly.
any sort of given matchup. You just gotta be aware that, yes, some characters will have better advantages, and Lucina having that consistency is definitely gonna help, but if we do see these setups for this Marth, it could lead to a whole different game, as 3 hits and the Marth is at 60, and Igloo is already looking for the spike.
Yeah, the same aggression we saw coming out of this last matchup against the Sonic, right? Unfortunately, not a 0 to death this time around, but effectively, right, only 8% on this Igloo Samus is now Marth up to 100%, but here come those tippers, right? This is what you need to be careful of.
Yeah, if we are looking for Igloo to close out this stock, it means that he will most likely look for either the back air or a fully charged shot to close it out. There it is right there, but it's not enough this time around as he goes off stage and Marth goes for the counter. Can he make it back? The mines are going to boost, but it's not enough as Marth is going to live, but is at 145. Just about anything could take him out.
Yeah, no. 145, make that 174. Almost a fully charged shot there, but I don't believe fully charged, so won't quite finish it as Marth now helplessly hangs off this ledge, waiting for an opportunity to get back on stage, and Igloo unable to capitalize now. Marth setting up his own plays, and listen to these tipper sounds, right? This Marth is finding the hitboxes, but will ultimately find a foot to the face as he will go down across the stage a little too high of a percent and lose his first stock.
Yes, and I mean, the tipper damage is starting to add up. Look at that, 120%, and Avery is off stage once again. Igloo just putting up so much and dealing with a ton of hits. The jab one, punish. Yes, it does just a little bit, but he can't go for much more due to the nature of Samus's jabs just not being super fantastic. But these setups, here we go. Marth's shield is looking a little low. He's starting to jump a ton as he gets a very good parry to make sure that shield does not go down.
Yeah, that was clutch. I mean, that's a bigger deal than it may seem. We see parries come out from time to time, and they're almost accidental, right? I don't want to say always accidental, but I mean, in a play like that, that mattered a lot. But that down air into back air is an incredible combo that one of few that Samus has, right, in this playstyle of just random stray projectile hits. That one lands true.
What are in Samus's shoes? Because those things
they hurt, man.
I mean, did you see? It was like, it was half a second of Marth getting hit and then going into the blast zone. Yes, he was at a high percent, but Samus is a zoner. Like, you got projectile-based game plan. It hurts so much, but speaking of hurting, the edge of a blade does the exact same as a very good tipper forward tilt will be able to send Igloo sending towards the blast zone, resetting his percent down to 1 stock apiece on both sides as a jump is called out from the Marth player trying to go for the back air. It does connect, which means that Marth will have a slow descent to the blast zone.
Yeah, I mean, that Marth was doing a really, really good job of finding the tipper hitboxes. I mean, that was what we said is the difference between a Marth player and a Lucina player. Can you go out there and space? Yeah. And that player certainly did.
Yeah, they did a really good job, which makes me happy. Again, I am a Marth believer. So, like, when people are able to find those hitboxes, and it doesn't need to be a tipper hitbox every time. You have setups where it's like sour into, oh, your opponent jumped, well, now you can get a tipper, or you can base your reaction on that. There's like a whole metagame flow chart to this stuff. And it makes me happy seeing players taking the time to sort of get that play style down. So kudos to them, but Igloo is still in. We have 1 stock on the Samus left, and if there is any character that I think is very difficult to take stocks off of, I do think Samus is one of those characters who can hold on to it for a while and is willing to play a very patient game to do just that.
Yeah, it's one thing when you have 1 stock remaining and you opt to play into a campy, really safe playstyle to sort of protect that stock. It's a whole other thing when your character's built around it. And if Igloo is able to come out and embrace this mentality of I'm going to protect this 1 stock like it's my child, then more power to him, right? That's a very scary Igloo to have to go up against.
Yeah, and we've seen it already from a lot of SU's players, where not only did Willie choose to lose his stocks, basically, we've seen Kip hold on to his stocks to take the 12-stock series. We've seen Far, Rhombus, and AJ take 2 stocks while sitting at 1 in very disadvantageous positions. I mean, these players know how to stay alive. They're gnats on the wall. How do you get rid of them?
Yeah, this is where Shenandoah has thrived all season long. They are undefeated in NACE regular season competition, and it's because of moments like this, situations like this, where they have 1 stock remaining and they cling to that stock for just too long. But as we see, University of Western Georgia sending out what could be their last line of defense. The Incineroar that we talked about in set number 1 has made an appearance and is tasked with taking 7 stocks straight to keep this season alive for them.
Chris, I don't know how I feel about this, because on the one hand, you have a character who has great zoning potential through the missiles and through the Z grab, as well as just all these great options to get that damage going. On the other side of this, you have a scary cat who is willing to go and grapple in your face. Samus will sit in their shield or try to jump away, and this Incineroar does not care if you're on the ground or in the air. He will try to find that Sign B at some point.
Yeah, and it's going to be a matter of maintaining space, right? Owning the stage. Can Igloo keep his distance reasonably and protect himself when the distance is closed?
Oh,
because
no,
situations
Chris.
like this create themselves, right? Igloo gets caught on a jump, landing in the arms of this Incineroar, throwing him back into the ropes and off into the blast zone.
Incineroar is such a funny character to me.
He's just goofy,
Let's
yeah.
talk about this. Igloo was at 40
Something like that.
and hit Incineroar with, I believe, 1 missile. The charge shot was not
Correct.
raged,
You're
which
right.
means that was just the side special that got hit by that. And again, catching Igloo on the jump, right? You don't want to sit and shield because the command grab will connect. And so your option is to jump while Incineroar kind of hits the middle ground and just says, all right, I'm coming at you. Near the side blast zone. It doesn't matter what percent you're at. He took 70. What do you mean?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know, right? Incineroar is so capable, more than capable, of taking awkward stocks like that, and especially into that sort of playstyle where Igloo did sort of back himself into a corner where he ran out of stage and then got caught on a jump, right? You're running out of options, and all of a sudden this Incineroar is more and more likely to catch you with his one option, and it pays off. So finally we see a team start to succeed in these uncomfortable one-stock clean-em-up situations, but Kevin,
Chris?
the scary demon man is back on our screen.
Okay. We saw Incineroar go for his grab and was able to take that stock, and Willie saw it, basically said, you know what, it's my turn. So Incineroar starting things off with a grab of his own. Will Willie find a grab? There it is. He's looking for it, but it isn't able to get it as Incineroar was leaning just a little far away. But now the electrics come out. As 65% on this Kazuya is racking up quickly. And this is the dangerous spot. Uh-oh, Chris.
Oh, wow, man. Going for a down
no.
smash there. He might just die off this. And an up smash to finish him off, taking first blood in this matchup. Willie not messing around. He wants to put this away and go get food. Look at the matchup preference on the side of your screen. Willie could not feel more comfortable than right now.
Yeah, you're dealing with a character who wants to be in Willie's face, and look at the electric string as the side B comes out. He might go down again, walking forward into the up smash. Where the Incineroar, one of the heaviest characters in the game, is going down. Here comes the grab. One electric into the nair. It won't be enough as Incineroar goes for the revenge and returns it in stride. But did I mention Chris? Kazi is a heavyweight too. He's at 160 as Willie goes for the kill button, but it won't be just enough as it didn't come out in time. And I have a feeling, Chris, we may see a repeat. No, Incineroar going for the side special will be able to take a stock off of Willie this time around.
Yes, getting the rage off the screen. The kill button now no longer a factor, as now Incineroar starting to find some opportunities, right? A couple side Bs landed in there, but you mess up once and you've set yourself up for disaster. This could be it. The turnaround. He's a Shoto. It doesn't matter. Kazuya putting it away, ending the regular season on a win, and Willie taking full control and sending the University of Western Georgia home.
I will never, mark my words, I will never get tired of seeing Kazuya Mishima. We just saw truly the same string for the first 2 stocks, and Incineroar just got destroyed. And then Willie goes for the setup a 3rd time and just adds a little flair on it. Just cause, like he can. He just wants to. He's walking away with the win, and I love it.
Yeah, I mean, putting it in the back of the net, Willie absolutely finishing the job, no doubt about it. Undisputed, top of the group. SU finishing undefeated. Regular season in this NACE Varsity Premier is now behind us. Shenandoah looking so strong, arguably stronger than ever with our, I'm going to do it again, our subs looking more or I guess less and less like subs as every week passes, more and more competition under their belt. And I mean, we'll take a look at these stats, right? Willie, really the player to talk about as always. 10 stocks on the day, right? 7 of those coming in set number 1, and I guarantee there would have been more if he went in any earlier than he did today.
Oh, absolutely, Chris. And I want to give kudos to all the players we saw today because they carried their weight and more. Both AJ and Forambus took 5 stocks of their own, and Igloo, while he only took 3, I have a feeling he would have taken, could have gotten a lot more, but Incineroar just got a very nice call out and sent him home early.
Right, and you can't be disappointed about 3 stocks, right? Everybody getting the job done, going out there, knowing your role, and executing. Execution is a big difference maker when it comes to separating mediocre teams from the good teams. Who can go out there and think up a game plan and go put it into action, and SU leaving no doubt whatsoever that they can get it done.
Yeah, every single time we see this roster, it's just more and more improvement every single week, and I just can't believe there has to be a plateau, right? And yet I'm proven wrong, both of us. Every single time we just see more and more where they're getting away with just tons of unique setups, great spacing. I am so excited to see, now that they are undefeated for the regular season, what this next part of the adventure looks like.
Yes, and like you said, we are not done. Smash Bros at Shenandoah University is not done, but we are done here for tonight. That will do it for us here. I want to take a quick moment and shout out our other teams that were competing tonight. Our other Smash team, I believe, walked away with a 2-0 win, so congratulations to them. And our Rocket League team was actually also competing today. They walk away with a 3-1 win. So Shenandoah overall walking away undefeated on this Thursday night. So congratulations to everybody competing off stream. But one more thing to shout out. We are not done here in this arena tonight. We have a very exciting thing coming up after this. At approximately 11:30, we will be starting our 72-hour-long marathon. We will be playing the brand new Call of Duty Black Ops 6 game while raising money for the American Cancer Society. So please come out and join. Come help us raise some money for a great cause. We're going to have a lot of fun. We certainly hope you will too. So thank you so much for watching. Congratulations to everybody playing. Drop us a follow on all of our socials, whatever platform you may be watching, to keep up to date as this Smash Bros team continues their playoff run and tries to make the most out of this season. So with that, be a friend, tell a friend something nice. It may change their life, and we will see you next time.